you said, do you want to be a part of any kind of group to overthrow the government or anything like that? Now, with that, make sure, okay, one, don't overthrow the government. Let's start there, right? But two, I've heard of people like they join Facebook groups or they're joining things and they don't realize what they're joining or adding. And someone sees that your name is attached to one of these like maybe radical groups, and maybe you thought it was just a joke. You were looking into what they were posting or whatever. That's going to come back to haunt you. So
Oh yeah.
make sure that you're not on one of these group threads or Facebook groups that might be a little, radicalized group. Because if they see you posting in one of those threads or seeing you in one of those groups, that could be an automatic denial,
Yeah.
and that's something to worry about.
This is Corey Jones with the Be Ready with Safetyman podcast. Join us every week for a new podcast. Follow us everywhere podcasts are played and on YouTube. Be Ready with Safetyman. This is Corey Jones.
What's up, Corey? We are back for another podcast. What's up?
Hey, Hoagie, it's all good, brother. It is all good. Things are going well, getting busy, getting a lot of good feedback from the clients that I'm training. Things are looking up. And I think you have some good news for us in reference to this YouTube channel.
Yeah, so it has been confirmed. We have reached YouTube partnership. So it took us a few years to get to this point, but I mean, we did it. It has been confirmed, and thanks to everyone that listens and follows and, has supported the channel. We're not really, making $1 million. I'm not making any money off this. And this is, just a conversation that me and Corey have been having for about 4 years. It's just an ongoing conversation to kind of inspire each other to, just think a little bit outside the box and, keep our thoughts fresh on what's going on in the police world. So we really appreciate all the comments and stuff, at least all the positive comments, right? We appreciate the positive comments, uh, you know, because it keeps my mind sharp. It helps me, kind of think about things. And I really appreciate that. And as we know, in this police world, law enforcement world, things are constantly changing. And that's one of the topics we're going to be talking about today, really. Um, you know,
Well, I know we were going to talk about some of the new requirements for getting that permit to carry, or is most commonly called the CCW, that concealed carry permit or concealed carry weapon. I don't know where these terms come from, but New Jersey still always called it a permit to carry handgun, but we're talking about the same thing. And although no one that I'm aware of has come up on that 2-year anniversary where they have to renew it, people are start to think about that. To start to think about, what do I need to do? What documents do I need? What's the process going to be for that? So I kind of wanted to talk about that today. And then
yeah.
at the end, I put on a seminar, and I'll be putting them on again in the future, where I had a criminal defense firm, Rosenberg and Perry Associates. They're based out of Mount Holly, New Jersey, right in the county seat. They're steps away from County Superior Court. One of them, Daniel Rosenberg, used to actually be a criminal defense. I'm sorry, a county prosecutor. So he's been on both sides of it. So they're pretty well versed in defending people who may, especially the ones that we were talking about, who inadvertently run astray of the new New Jersey laws concerning carrying, transporting, transferring, owning, possessing, and using a handgun.
So just to jump back a little bit, if you're listening for the first time ever to this channel, we have already covered qualifications. We've already covered how to get your permit in New Jersey. You can watch our old videos or listen to our older podcast to kind of bring brought up to speed. But like Corey's saying today, we're going to talk about what's going to be needed for that requalification, right? When you go back, what to expect, and going from there for the concealed carry. A couple, just again, I throw this out here, but we've already covered. But just to start it off, um, is New Jersey open carry or concealed carry? People always get those confused. I figure we start with that and then go into this.
Yeah, unless you're on duty in uniform as a armored car guard, a SORA certified security officer, or an active duty law enforcement officer. New Jersey is 100% concealed carry. Concealed means just that. One little nuance with the concealed carry: people often worry about printing, or that idea that you're wearing a T-shirt or some outer garment covering a firearm, and you reach up for the counter for something, you bend over to tie your shoe, and somebody sees the outline or the bottom of the holster. That's considered printing. You're not going to run afoul of the law. Now, that's not to say that there couldn't be a Karen standing next to you and want to call 911 just to say there's a guy with a gun somewhere. So be prepared for that. And when you take my courses, we tell you how to deal with exactly that. So it'll be no problem for you.
Yeah, and so just so people watching YouTube out there and watching things, one, this is not legal advice from us. This is just a conversation me and Corey are having. Make sure you
Yeah.
brush up on the legal stuff, on your own. But two, I see these YouTube videos and they are walking around with their open carries, and people think that's every state. It's not, and so
No.
that's why I want to bring that up. You have to have, like he said, either be through a security company, a police officer, military, or you have to have a concealed carry permit in the state of New Jersey. And once you get that, like we've talked about on the previous year, you're going to have the requalification. So
Yes.
let's jump into that. What is the requalification? What are we looking at? This is going to be the first set of requals that are going to be happening. So
Yeah, it's actually going to be very easy. It's going to be a much easier lift than the initial qualification one because nobody's going to have to jump through a bunch of different hoops or an ever changing. Nobody's moving the goalposts. Right now, the goalposts are stationary. Yeah, still in court. Yeah, we're operating under restraining orders and injunctions and stays, but right now it's the same. As soon as everybody who has a permit, that little button you clicked on that said start that initial application, right under that, there's one that says, what do I need for my re-qualification or renewal? You click that, it drops it down. There's five things, five little check blocks that you need. It's not very big. You need your name, date of birth, and SBI number that you were all given when you got your firearms ID card, permit to purchase, or permit to carry. So those are the first couple of things that you definitely want to have.
okay, and then what's next to that? Do we actually have to go to a qualification course? Do we have to submit paperwork? What are we looking at?
Yes. So then what you're going to do, you're going to do that part. They're going to ask you a couple questions again. Do you advocate the overthrow of the United States by the use of force? Are you a habitual drunkard? Make sure nothing has outwardly changed, at least that you're willing to admit to, that's going to disqualify you. You don't have to go get fingerprinted again. Yes, Anthony, you do have to go and take another qualification course by a certified instructor or a qualifier. And it must be, there's no substantially similar anymore. It must be that C Care course, that 50 round course, where it's 10 rounds at 15 yards, 10 rounds at 10, 7, 5, and 3. During that qualification course, you must demonstrate to your instructor or qualifier that you can safely draw and reholster the weapon, that you can load and unload the weapon, that you can form a reload with the weapon, and that you can actually do all these things safely without raising your hand, turning around, or asking questions.
Okay, so we got 50 round course,
Mhm,
15 yards and in.
mhm.
So 10 at the 15, 10 at the 10, 10 at the 7, 10 at the 5. I'm counting on my hand because I'm doing the math. And then what's the last one at
At 3 yards, at three
3
yards.
yards?
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't know if it was like, we do the arm's length or the 3 yards. So okay,
yeah.
3 yards
Mhm,
going that way. You have to do a magazine change there at some point. You have to
mhm.
show holstering and unholstering, going through that as well. And then with that, now with the paperwork, what are we doing with that? Are we getting you're signing off, like whoever's certifying you signing off on it, or
Yes, the same paperwork that you got the first time after they went to C Care, you would have got one from an instructor or qualifier that said that you successfully completed it. You showed a thorough knowledge of the safe handling and operation of the firearm that you intend to carry. I give you that PDF, you upload it to your application, it goes up in the ether, wherever that goes. They marry it up with your application, and then in a couple of weeks, maybe a month, they'll send you another PDF saying that from this date for another 2 years, providing something changes. Remember, we're in New Jersey. This is still currently in court. Something could change while we're giving this. Something could change between the time we record this and the time we release it. So always check to make sure that what we're saying is still accurate. But yes, you will upload those via PDF. It's very easy. If you've applied for a car loan, if you've set up an Amazon account or social media account, you can do this.
so a couple things I will say that probably just some of it will be common sense, but not for
Mhm.
everyone. So the one question on there, people joke about this, right? Like, when you said before, I'm jumping way back to the beginning what you said when you said, do you want to be a part of any kind of group to overthrow the government or anything like that? Now, with that, make sure, okay, one, don't overthrow the government. Let's start there, right? But two, I've heard of people like they join Facebook groups or they're joining things and they don't realize what they're joining or adding. And someone sees that your name is attached to one of these like maybe radical groups, and maybe you thought it was just a joke. You were looking into what they were posting or whatever. That's gonna come back to haunt you.
Oh
So
yeah.
make sure that you're not on one of these group threads or Facebook groups that might be a little, radicalized group. Because if they see you posting in one of those threads or seeing you in one of those groups, that could be an automatic denial,
Yeah.
and that's something to worry about. Second thing I was going to say, just from listening to your conversation that spiked up, I would say for the recertification, you want to do this as soon as you, I guess, are eligible to do so. You don't want to hit any kind of lag point there. I would assume you want to get that requal done before that date because, just like anything, Murphy's Law, right? If it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong. You're like, oh, I'm going to be 1 week behind. I can't qualify till next week. And then that's when something happens and they go, the lawyers start jumping on you. Well, you weren't qualified. You weren't requalified again. And, so I would say get on this now. And where do they go for that? Is you said it's a site or
The exact same place on just type in NJSP, New Jersey State Police, and then FARS, Firearms Registration System, or you could just type in New Jersey State Police Firearms. It's going to take you there. You just navigate to where it says permit to carry a handgun, hit that drop down menu on renewal, and it's going to guide you right through it. I haven't had anybody have any problems doing it the first time. Like I said, I haven't had anybody try it the second time, but they got to it, they navigated to it, they saw it, and they got all their paperwork to go. You mentioned earlier, Hoogie, when do you want to jump on this? You can't do it any sooner than, I believe, 4 months, and they advise you to do it before 2 months just to make sure. Now, you also said, be careful about these radical groups or extremist groups, or I'll just call them really outspoken Americans that are saying, no, the government says 90 days. If it's 91 days, I'm going to complain. I'm like, that's good. You do you. I'm advising my clients get it done, get it out of the way so there's no lag time, no lapse. Something didn't get lost in the mail, the computers didn't go down, something happened. Get it done. You do not want to be the first one. There have been zero legally law-abiding citizens with a permit to carry a firearm who've committed any crimes involving that firearm. Zero. Over the 33,000 that have been issued in almost 2 years now, Anthony, there have been zero.
knock
So
on
that
wood,
goes to
knock on
show you
wood.
that the people are by and large following the law because they do not want to lose this right.
Yeah, no, that's great. Because that's something that the media wants to jump probably all over is,
Yeah.
hey, look at this guy, he messed up, right?
Hmm.
That's what it usually is. So we don't want to see that. We want to see people legally carrying, doing the right thing, and looking out for each other and what needs to be done the correct way.
Yeah.
And that's great that people are following the policies and going along with the guidelines the state has put forward. So that's what we want to see.
Exactly, exactly. Another thing you talked about, let's stay ahead of the law. There's a standard, right? As a farm instructor, there's a standard. There's an 80% standard. We don't want the people to work with us just training to the standard. We want the standard be the absolute minimum. You're having a bad day. Okay, I can just barely get this. We want to be shooting perfect 100%. We want to be able to do our reloads 100% with our eyes closed without thinking about it. I want to be able to do an emergency magazine change while I'm sending a text. That's how good I want it to be. Because under stress, under the fog of war, under a sudden, unexpected, traumatic attack, you're only going to be able to rely on your best training ability. You're not going to pull something out of a YouTube video that you saw 3 years ago. So if you don't know how to do a tap rack ready or a lock report tap rack ready, you're not going to do it under stress. You're going to die. You're going to get somebody else killed, or you're just going to fail. So train to the best standard. I'm saying this because I'm here, but I'm also saying it because I believe it. train with Safetyman, you will train to the best standard possible. I used to get beat up on the internet for starting a high standard when the state had not yet established one, and the state standard has been slowly creeping up towards my standard, which I didn't create. Is the standard RPO HQC1, New Jersey Attorney
you
General
got
Force
you got
Policy.
some fireworks going off. I don't know what just happened. You had some
Yeah,
fireworks.
I don't know what I just said, but that maybe
I
it
don't
was
know.
my idea.
I was like, what is he doing? He's got fireworks going off behind
I
him.
touched nothing.
You're on a pedestal there. And you're like, and I am going to be running for Congress after this. Like explosions in the
Right.
background. That's
Maybe I'm
right.
going to get a golden escalator and announce my
I
run for
don't know what
president.
happened. My nose is running because I ate some hot stuff here, and I'm now. You got explosions going on. I got my nose running. But just the chaos that you're going to get on the Safety Man podcast. You never know what's going to happen. I ate these really off topic. I ate these really hot pepper Cheeto things, and
Mhm.
man, they cleared out my sinuses really good.
Apparently.
So yeah, really good. Um,
Apparently.
so jumping in now to the seminar you're talking about. What's going on with that? What was this all about?
Yeah, so we did a maiden voyage. We had about 20 firearm owners or prospective firearm owners show up. We had the beautiful Aloft Hotel right there at 73 and Fellowship in Mount Laurel. Beautiful. We had a great ballroom. Had Rosenberg and Perry Associates. They brought three attorneys. Some are criminal. They're all criminal defense, but some specialize specifically in people who have run across the firearms laws, whether intentionally or not. But they did that. And one of the things they stressed was, do you want to be doing this at 2 a.m. trying to find an attorney after you just utilize force or deadly force, whether it be inside your home or at the Wawa up the street? No. You want to know that you have an attorney, that you came to this seminar, you went to his or her office, you talked to them. You know that at 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve, a representative will answer and a representative will start to work your case, right? You want to have a trust with that person so they know you, you know them, not retainer. We didn't discuss anything about being on retainer, but that's the one thing that the attorney said was, one, train to the highest standard possible and continually train, because that's the first thing they're going to look at in court. Is if you shoot somebody, whether everything else about the shoot be justified, they're going to look at the social media posts that you talked about. They're going to look about the crazy sign that you have in your front yard. Trespassers will be shot, survivors will be shot twice. They're going to look at your social media posts, right? They're
So I
going to
should
look
take
at your
that sign
training.
down. I should take one of those signs down. Okay.
Yeah, you should probably take that sign down or print it in braille, maybe, and then you should probably be good to go. I'll probably get in trouble for that. They talk about having a plan, because what am I going to say on 911? Because 911 is recorded, and right now I'm technically the subject of a homicide. Anything I say can and will be used against me. Yet I'm also a law-abiding citizen, and I don't want police officers to get hurt, first responders to get hurt, or my neighbors to get hurt. So I also want the first responders responding to know that there's another bad guy on the loose. The bad guy that I engage with is outside. He or she is still armed. There's some information. So you want to discuss that with yourself, your family, and your attorney of what information you want to provide on that 911 call, and then face to face when law enforcement arrives. They also talk about deadly force. You're a use of force instructor. Deadly force is an absolute last resort. An absolute last resort. You need to be able to not only articulate it, explain it, write about it, testify to it, remember it, but literally believe it in your heart of hearts that I had no other choice. This bad guy, these bad guys forced me to use this level of force to defend myself, my family, or some innocent third party that I endeavor to protect. And here's the last big one, Anthony. You ready for the last big one? This is like masks, no masks, vaccination, no vaccination, red pill or blue pill. It's, do I need to qualify with all the guns I intend to carry, or should I just shoot one gun and then all the other ones are covered? Because the law kind of alludes to both. The law portion of it says that one permit shall suffice for all the firearms that the applicant intends to carry. However, on the state police website where it says forms to download, there is a form that you can download, and it says make, model, caliber, and serial number of all the guns you intend to carry, which would equate to me that, all right, there's some gray area between qualify on it and report it, but I really have a hard time finding any gray area between report it and then it's just okay because the law says it. My advice, because of what I have to do, is qualify twice a year in every gun I intend to carry. One, because I want to be tactically sound in it. I want to know that it's going to work and that I can operate it safely, tactically, and efficiently. Number two, because legally, when I'm sitting across from the judge, the jury, and a plaintiff or a defense attorney that's trying to put me under the jail, I don't want any holes in my testimony. I don't want any holes in my training records. I wanted to say I shot that gun last month. I shot it in June and I shot it in September, and I passed all those times. And then finally, morally, tactically, legally, and morally sound, I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror. I want to be able to look at my family, look at my neighbors, withstand the continual onslaught of social media and mainstream media saying that you shot that person because you wanted to, or you missed that person because you didn't train with all your guns, or you weren't proficient in it. You got it because it was a cool 45 or a cool this or a cool that. So train to the highest standard. Have a legal representative that you know how to call. Qualify and train with and practice on all the firearm systems, all the holsters, all the methods of carry, all the types of ammunition that you are likely to encounter in a forced choice.
Yeah, and just to go off that a little bit more, um, I think the end of it all is, you should just be training to be good at it because you feel at least comfortable carrying it. Because here's the thing is that, yeah, great, you maybe shot it once a year to qualify or requalify every 2 years, but do you mentally feel strong enough to carry it? Right? Because now you're taking it out to the street. You should be comfortable if you're gonna have it on your hip. Not just like, oh, look at this, it's cool. You should be comfortable. Like I am comfortable carrying my weapon while working, right? Like you
Hmm.
should feel comfortable carrying that weapon. You shouldn't feel scared to have that. So I think training more takes away that uneasiness, and you'll feel comfortable carrying it when you need to.
100%, Anthony. One of the things I tell all my clients is it's a self perpetuating cycle or it's a self fulfilling prophecy. I really don't know which one the difference is. Any of the viewers or listeners, if you want to comment, let me know which one applies to what I'm about to say next. But competence, being able to actually do something effectively, breeds confidence, is knowing that I can do that and I can have that in my tool belt, my physical tool belt and my mental tool belt, because I'm confident that I can competently execute this armbar takedown or this baton strike or this firearm shot or two shots or multiple shots or double tap or whatever it is. And then that competence and that confidence, they continually breed each other. Because if you feel you can do it, you'll do it at 100%. You'll do it properly. And you may see this in use of force instructor. People who don't believe that the tactic or technique or skill set or concept doesn't work, they're going to kind of just half-ass it through the demonstrations. But when they actually see it done, then they see it done under stress, and then you show them some videos of them seeing it done in an actual use force situation on the street. You'll start to breed that confidence, which will then get them to train, which will breed competence. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's to your point, is exactly what I want my clients and everybody who's carrying a firearm and any other tool for self-defense or defense of another third party, is to have confidence that it'll work and have competence that you can do it effectively.
I just thought of something. It's just random. Well, not random, but like a result of this. Do you think we're ever gonna get to the day? Like right now, you have to when you qualify, you have to submit a sheet. You have to have an actual instructor that is certified to sign off on it. Do you think we're gonna see the day soon where you're gonna have to submit actual video of you performing the task?
No.
No, do you think it's just gonna be?
No, no, I hope not. Not while you and I are here. I think before that we'll get to a day like Tesla will get us to a day where we have weapons that don't actually kill. It's almost not even a taser. It just completely paralyzes you, and it will be 6K, 1080p, Dolby Atmos, theater, and we'll see everything that happened before, during, and after from that overhead drone view that you see in some of the new vehicles. So you'll be able to see the distance, the time, the speed that somebody was approaching or retreating, the angle that they were turned when the force was applied. I think that'll happen, but no, I don't think we'll be videotaping. I know you and I were talking about that though, right? Videotaping the CCARE course, and we're going to do that this spring and
Yeah,
post it on here.
just to show everyone, I want to. I'll record Corey doing it and just showing what, and it's 80% still, right?
Yeah, still 80%. I'm not going to go for an 80% because that's the minimum standard,
No,
Anthony.
no, I'm just saying for people listening at home, people are asking, so that if you're doing math, you have to hit 40 out of 50 inside the target. That's
Mhm.
inside the target. That doesn't count grazing, right? We don't count grazing. It's got to be
No,
inside the target
no,
to make
no
the
grazing.
standard. Yeah, no
Yep,
grazing.
no
Only hits
grazing at
count.
all. Yeah, I covered all my notes, man. I covered all my notes, bro.
Yeah, so in a future episode, we're just trying to work out our schedule. Corey's busy, I'm busy, but we are going to get you a video, and we'll break it down for you just to show everyone what a qual looks like from the 15 and in, and we'll post it here on the Safety Man Podcast YouTube channel.
Yes.
And if you guys have any questions or concerns, you can check it out as well. But yeah, so that's like I said, go back watch the other videos, but this is for the requal and just a little information to kind of bring you up to speed what's going on, because that requal date is coming up and people are going to start searching. What do I have to do to requalificate? Requalify, requalificate. I don't think that's a word. Maybe,
Yeah,
but
it is
anyway,
now. No, it's a
it is now.
self-fulfilling. It's a self-fulfilling, perpetuating cycle prophecy.
Safety Man Podcast, where we just
Yeah,
make up shit and
yeah.
hope for the best.
Most of the information prior to this was not made up. This I don't know. I can't speak to this.
we are
But I
not.
do
We're
want to let everybody know any viewer who comments, whether it's self fulfilling prophecy or self perpetuating cycle, whoever comments first gets 50% off a training session with me. 50% off a firearms training session with me. So let me know. Should I have said it's a self fulfilling prophecy or a self perpetuating cycle that competence breeds confidence breeds competence? Let me know.
That's pretty good. All right. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And Corey, where can they find you for your company?
At Safetyman CO, all one word, everywhere except Facebook. Facebook makes me put a stupid period in there. Safetyman.co on Facebook, but you'll see me at Safetyman CEO on LinkedIn, on all the other ones.
All right, cool. All right, I'll see everyone on the next podcast. See you guys.
All right, stay safe, be ready, train now.